skinny today. Um, yeah, it is gorgeous outside, so I figure this is my show and I'll take it outside if I want to. You may hear some birds chirp, some dogs bark, but we're just gonna kind of roll with it. We are obviously in just a really weird time of life right now. Um, like things just look different. We're in quarantine. um, Life just kind of feels hard. And so, something that I have found that helps me is just trying to find ways to make the most of this time. And so, instead, I know, like an hour ago, I did a live with Jackie Hurtis talking about real estate. So, I figured that today we would talk more about just like ways that I've found to cope with what's going on, and just ideas that I've had of ways like you can get creative with doing stuff, and also kind of what to expect from me over the next couple of weeks. Um, let's start with what to expect. So, I am starting to line up a series of a ton of really fun interviews. While I do think it's really important to just keep everyone informed and aware of what's going on in real estate, I also think it's just there's a lot more happening outside of that. And so, um, not only will I be talking to different industry professionals, like tomorrow, I will be talking with Kim Pierce from the Staging Consultant, just talking about how we're shifting our business right now, and how the way that if you're thinking of selling or if you're wanting to sell, ways for you to have a competitive advantage in this market. I know that I know that maybe it seems a little tone deaf right now. To be talking about this kind of thing when there are so many people that are dealing with so many heavy things. But I do know, like, this, there will be people that need to sell because of what's going on. And I do know that real estate is still moving forward. It is considered as an essential service. And so we're just going to talk about like what that looks like in this weird time of our lives. So I'm really excited about that. Kim always just has the best information. So keep an eye out for that. That's tomorrow at 3:30 Central Time. And then I'm really excited about some other people that I have coming on. Again, I will be talking with more industry professionals. We're going to be talking to one of my favorite home inspectors. Just again, how, if you're in the process of selling, like what you can do to just make it as safe as possible for when the home inspection happens. And then I'm also really, really excited. One of my friends does life coaching. And I think right now, more than ever, we really need all the tools that we can get to help us cope through this time. So that's coming up on Tuesday, and I'm so excited about that. She's just fantastic, and I love her. And so I think the information that she's going to bring is going to be really, really great. And then the one that I may be most excited about, and I think I'm going to make it a weekly or at least a bi-weekly thing. My sister is the coolest person that I know, and I will tell that to everybody, anytime, all the time, because she trains sharks. So, and she also just has the best sense of humor. And so when I tell people she trains sharks, people are kind of like, how do you do that? Like, what does that look like? She has wanted to be a marine biologist, like pretty much her whole life. Actually, in fact, my mom actually found a book that she created. We both created one sometime in elementary school. And in it, she said she wants to be a dolphin trainer, and that was the plan. But then when she got into the field, she, I think through an internship, got introduced to sharks, and she just fell in love with sharks. So we are going to start a Wine with Sharks series. I'm so excited. It's going to be an evening time thing where we're both going to have a glass of wine, and we're going to talk all the shark things, because let's be honest, people love sharks, because otherwise Shark Week would not be so exciting. So I am so pumped about that. So just, keep an eye out on the Facebook page, just for the different interviews that I do have coming up. I'm really, really excited about it. And I do have a friend, one of my closest friends. She works for for the Department of Tourism. And we're going to be talking about all sorts of things of how to experience Tennessee virtually without ever having to leave the safety and comfort of your home. So lots of exciting things coming up. So just keep an eye out for that. Like I said, now, just I just kind of want to talk about a couple of like different ways to cope. So I know that a lot of people have life events that have been affected because of COVID. I myself am a bride, and so I've been very, very, very blessed so far as to things are still moving forward as planned. But I do know that others are having to make alternate plans, postpone it, or their weddings are just having to look different than what they were going to. I know that people are having to postpone baby showers or not have them at all. And I just know that things look really different right now. And I know, a lot of people that I've talked to were starting to go stir crazy. But one of the things that I have found to be most beneficial, I've talked about it multiple times. I'm part of a coaching program, and my coach is so heavy on mindset, because like where your mind goes, it kind of controls your life. Like your thoughts control your actions, control your life. And so she's been really, really content heavy on just keeping your mind right. And I know that can seem really difficult right now. But one of the best things that I've found is just, for the most part, either tuning out completely or limiting your exposure to news. That is not, when you're constantly being bombarded with things that are doom and gloom, it's really hard to keep your mind right. So, and I've also decided, in terms of that, not only limiting the news, but also practicing gratitude. And I know that I've talked about this before, but gratitude is so huge. Like right now, I am just thankful that the sun is shining and that it's a beautiful day out. And I put on real human normal clothes today, and I feel like $1,000,000. And I know that before all of this happened, those things were easily taken for granted. Not maybe the sunshine, because Nashville has been like Seattle for pretty much all of 2020, but it's finding gratitude, because the more that you fill your heart with gratitude, the more you fill your mind with gratitude, it's going to help suppress those feelings of fear. I know, not only does my coach Krista talk about this, but also I know that Rachel Hollis is really big into this as well, is just focusing on the good things in life. And I mean, when it comes to gratitude, I mean, it can be as big as like, I'm just thankful that I'm healthy, but it can be as small as like your cup of coffee in the morning with a view, or whatever it may be. So I would really, really challenge you in the morning to wake up, and first thing you do, write a gratitude list. Write out 5 things, 3 things, 10 things, anything to help get your mind right and make you realize like while this is really inconvenient and we're having to kind of adjust on the fly to this new way of life, it's just also realizing that there's going to be an end here, and we're going to get through this, and it may feel like it's forever, but we will come out on the other side of this. So practicing gratitude. I also am just really taking this time to get creative. And what do I mean by that? So find new ways to do things. Obviously you can't go out to restaurants right now and do date nights, but what if you brought that concept home? What if you either ordered out from a local restaurant and supported them because they need help right now? But what if you brought it out, like brought the food in, sanitize it. I'm real big on that right now. And then just like tune out everything else, put your phones away, and just act as if you're like at this Mexican restaurant, if you picked up Mexican food, or if you're at an Italian restaurant, and just really set the mood and make it feel as if you were there. Or, you could get really creative with a movie night. I know that I love going to the movies, and especially movie theater popcorn. But what if you decided to almost like have a childlike innocence and create like a cool fort in your family room and watched a movie that either is new to you or maybe you haven't watched it in a really long time. Um, I keep thinking about if I have to make changes when it comes to wedding plans, thinking of like a bachelorette party, or a shower, or I'm thinking about the people for baby showers. Like, what if you took that concept and even if it doesn't happen on the time that it's supposed to happen, you could still revisit it. Like, I mean, I'm a big lover of the show Friends. And so when I think about people who've had to either postpone or cancel baby showers, what if you did it post baby when it's safe to do so? And it was more like the concept that Rachel and Monica threw for Phoebe, where it was like celebrating things that like you can do now that you've given birth. It's just trying to find ways to get creative. I mean, I've even thought like if you have to postpone a bachelorette party, like yes, when you get the chance to go, you'll technically be married probably, but who's saying that you can't still go on that trip and still celebrate the fact that you were a bride and that you were getting married? Of course, like you can do things on Zoom, you can do virtual get-togethers. I would, if you're especially missing that human connection, like going out and grabbing a drink with friends, I would challenge you to use Zoom. It's not that hard. Or you can do multiple FaceTimes if you don't want a super big group, but just finding a way to like set aside that time as if you were meeting up at a restaurant or a bar and just like spend that time together. It's just right now, I think it's just a matter of trying to get outside, instead of like getting so thick in the weeds as to what you can't do, start to think about all the things that you can do. And I know that people probably don't want to hear this, but working out helps the mental state a lot. Like I have relied heavily on it recently, and it has made a world of difference in how I'm approaching each day and how I feel. So again, I think it's just, yes, it sucks. This is hard. This is a weird time in life. We're living in unprecedented times, which I'm sure people are probably getting really sick and tired of hearing that word, but it's true. But even when it's hard, like we were built for hard things. You can do hard things and use this as an opportunity to just to create new ways of living, to get creative, to really like, because we're so used to being on our screens and we're so used to like all of these conveniences. But I've seen a lot more kids outside playing than I have in recent years. So and that's the way I grew up, was outside playing. So again, there are hard things, but again, we do have the ability to forge more meaningful connections. We have the ability to kind of dictate what the new phase of life is going to look like when some sort of normalcy starts to resume. And I guess the last thing that I would challenge you with is just figure out a way to help yourself in whatever that means. So if it means creating a Spotify playlist, which I have done, of just some of my favorite, like get you in a good mood songs. If you want to check that out, there is a link in my bio. It'll pull up a series of links and you'll see I called it Quarantunes playlist. But find things that make you happy. Find things that give you joy, no matter how small. And just remember, like, this isn't going to last forever and we will get through it. So I feel like that's my spiel for today. But like I said, stay tuned because there are going to be a lot of really fun things coming up on my Facebook page, on my Instagram in terms of interviews. I'm really excited about what's happening. And then also at the same time, like just remember that we're going to get through this, and that when things feel hard, when you get scared, I would just challenge you to find things that make you grateful and that give you joy. So I hope that everyone has a wonderful Thursday. I will be back tomorrow with Kim to talk about selling during COVID. But in the meantime, I hope that everyone has a wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow.